I'm with Marcus Weldon. We're at the Broadband World Congress in Paris. Marcus, there's been a lot of protests going on in France and in Paris about government issues. If there was going to be a protest in the broadband world industry at the moment, what would they be protesting about, in your opinion?
It's a very good question. I think they would be protesting. There's really a sort of conundrum in the industry at the moment where revenues for services remain flat, but the cost of providing those services is going up exponentially. So that's a very difficult proposition, and you can imagine profitability starts shrinking when your revenue is flat and your costs are going up. You have diminishing profitability, and that's something that's very difficult to handle in the industry. And so that's what they'd be protesting at the moment, is we need to find a way of growing revenue and decreasing our costs. And if we solve both those issues, then we're onto something. But at the moment, we're in this very difficult position.
Alcatel-Lucent's answer that it's proposing to this protest at the show here, what are you talking about as your highlights?
Our highlights, we have two paradigms that solve both those issues. One is we have a thing called a high leverage network proposition, which we've been working on for a few years, which is to decrease the cost per bit of delivery. So that solves the cost problem. But at the same time, we're also looking at a way of valuing those bits more through exposing the bits capabilities or the network capabilities through APIs to application and content providers. We call them ACPs. You can think of them as what used to be called OTTs. So those people developing applications, innovative applications on the web, now get access to service provider capabilities, payment, messaging, quality of service metrics, so that they can get a better service experience for their end users and pay the network for use of those services. So you've got a new paradigm where the user will pay for a service on the web, a premium service. That premium service provider will then pay the network provider for delivering the service with sort of a better experience. And so now you've stabilized the revenue model. It's not just about service providers selling you walled garden services. The web services will now be available to you with a premium experience. So you've got more revenue for service provider associated with that, sharing the revenue with the application developer, and we've got a lower cost per bit, and those two things together stabilize the business model.
Okay, and congratulations on the award you won last night. Can you give me a snapshot on what that was all about and why you won?
Yes, it's about a technology called phantom mode, which is quite interesting because it comes from the 1880s, so what's old is new again. It used to be old analog transformers on voice lines. If you had a single copper pair, you could actually add in a second voice signal by doing a center tap on a transformer. So on one piece of copper, you get two voice calls. And now we've rediscovered that for DSL. DSL, as you know, is a very popular copper access technology for broadband. Taking two copper lines, which you can connect to each home, you add in a third signal. So you can now get, using a combination of those techniques, 300 megabits per second on copper over 400 meters. So that's quite impressive. 300 megabits per second. If you think about dial-up times, we were at 64 kilobit per second, and ADSL was 8 megabits per second, and now we're at 300 megabits per second over 400 meters. So if you move your DSL unit, the DSLAM, close to the end user, 400 meters away, you can now get 300 megabits per second. That's what the innovation was about.
Okay, fantastic. Thanks for the time, and enjoy the rest of the show.
Thanks very much.